Oh man, you would not believe how sleepy I am right this second. I'm just very sleepy. I don't know why I slept my full 8 hours more or less. I didn't sleep any less than usual, to be honest. But I decided I was going to stream today because I didn't do it yesterday, even though I meant to because I had a rough day out. So it's kind of yeah. I'm forcing it. I'm forcing it because I was sick earlier and I wanted to stream more, and then I didn't because I was sick. So instead, I'm forcing it. I guess that's what I do. Oh boy. Yeah, I have an energy drink, so we're just gonna have to wait a little bit for that to take effect, right? Well, to be fair, I was also looking forward to streaming Metroid. It's a game that I haven't really ever given the time, you know? I haven't really played it ever. I mean, I played it once for like 5 minutes and then decided, oh, I'm going to pick this up later, and then I never did, so that's what happened. You're gonna have to forgive me though, just give me a little bit, because I need the energy drink to start taking effect before I can really trust myself to start coding, right? To start working on the game. Oh man, it's the animations. I have to do animations again. I hate doing animation stuff. I'm not terrible at it. I can do it, but it takes me so long, and it's not the stuff that I like doing. I like coding. I like designing, like game design, right? Animations are just the thing that I have to do because it's somebody. It just needs to be done, right? Like in engine, so I have to make that. It's yeah. And the worst part, like. It would be fine if I could just make the animations and have them be made. What I hate is having to hook them up to the mechanics and to the game. Like, that's the part that always feels messy, and I'm never satisfied with how it works. I just don't like it. It's not fun to do. And I've been spending so long on it. So many streams of nothing but animations, man. And it's because I've been slow. It is because I've been slow. I've been super slow with it. I've been way too slow with it. This is a very long-term game idea, to be honest. At this point, I've been working on it for like, what, 6 months? Granted, not consistently. If I was putting a full-time job's worth of effort, I would be way further forward in this game. No, I'm working on this in very, like, it's like a drip feed, right? But still. Oh, I forgot. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, it's there's a thing I forgot to set up. It's yeah. Hot gamer hot streamer tips #1. I have a piece of cloth that I put in between my computer and the microphone because of my cable setup and my desk setup. The computer actually, because I'm streaming from a laptop, right? it's a pretty good laptop, but it's a laptop. So like, here's why I stream mostly retro games. Well, it's because I like them, but it's also because like I can't stream Grand Theft Auto 5. To be fair, I wouldn't want to, but you know what I mean, right? On this PC, no, that wouldn't work. What was I saying? Oh yeah, because of my setup, right? Like I have to have the monitor in front of me, and the microphone has to be somewhat nearby. So the microphone ends up being pretty close to the computer, and if the computer's fans are going, then the microphone just picks them up, right? If you think that my audio is rough, that's fair, and it is. It's mostly because I have like 7 filters on this on the audio output, because otherwise you can hear the fans going the entire fucking time. It's horrible, man. But what I do to mitigate that is I have a piece of cloth. It's actually a pair of pants. I have a pair of my pants, and I just put them in between the computer and the fans, and that it doesn't fix it, but it helps. I mean, my setup is so fucking scuffed, man. I'm streaming off of a laptop to begin with. I prop up my phone in between the keyboard and the computer just so that it can stand up, because I don't have a phone stand, right? And the reason I do that is because so that I can have the flashlight shining directly into my face, so that my face is always visible for the webcam that is doing the face tracking. It sucks, but it somehow works weirdly. I don't know, man. Throw money at me. I want one of those nice ring lights. Throw money at me. I can't justify the expense though, that's the thing. It's not that I couldn't afford one, they're not that expensive. Hold on, I'm getting... Okay, it's not that I couldn't afford one, they're not that expensive, it's just that I couldn't justify the expense for the sake of a stream that gets maybe 7 views a month, you know? Like, it's not... And obviously I'm not doing this for money, right? So like that's why I keep streaming despite that, but like, you know, like I could make things nicer for the stream, but then it's like, okay, but why though? Like, what am I getting out of that, right? Like, I'm streaming just fine without that. It's not like the stream is paying that back, right, is it? It's just a silly thing. Well, if I had more disposable income, I probably would do it. I really don't have much of an income at all, though. Okay, is the caffeine kicking in? Oh, I'll give it a couple minutes. I feel so drowsy, man. So drowsy. What can I talk about in the meantime? I was going to give like life updates, but there's not really any updates to my life, man. It's all been just nothing. There's been nothing going on. It's just a pretty uneventful life. I'm still waiting on the internship to see what they'll say. I've been trying to like make a portfolio document and other things for the game making thing. So hopefully I could get a job in game dev somewhere sometime. Oh, you want to know something that's actually worried me a bunch, right? Like, in all likelihood, if I do get a job making games or in the game development adjacent industry, I mean, let's be fully honest, regardless of what talents I have, purely because of where I'm situated and because of the kind of games that need the most people, I'd probably end up making casino games for a good bit, you know? Like, I don't know. And that's kind of grim, isn't it? I mean, so long as I can get money out of it, I wouldn't be particularly upset by doing that. But it's not the thing that I would want to be doing, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's a bit of a grim thought. I don't want to make a fucking shitty casino game, right? But undeniably, they're the ones that are, you know, that just need developers around. I don't know, I would love to hope that I can get, like, into a nice game development company. But there aren't that many of those in Chile. I mean, I could do remote work, but... Okay, I'm terrible at selling myself, that's the thing. I wish that I could just, all my skills could do the talking. Because I know that I'm good at what I do. I'm not like amazing, but I'm good, decently good. And I just can't put myself out there. It seems to be really difficult to me somehow, you know what I mean? And this stream is partly to help with that, right? Like, I mean, I don't think that this stream is going to be like a really good opportunity for, you know, for showing what I can do in terms of game development or anything. I don't think it would do that for me. I mean, maybe it could help a little bit in some ways, but I think for the most part, it's just a thing that I do as a hobby, right? If I'm going to put effort into things for the sake of, right, making a good impression to potential employers, I could be putting effort in hell of a lot better things than fucking Twitch stream, couldn't I? Especially one where I'm so informal about it. Swearing like a sailor and shit. But in terms of like being more comfortable with showing off my work, I think it's been helping, even if I'm still pretty fucking terrible at selling myself in any capacity. Okay, that's enough preamble. Let's actually start working on this for a little bit, huh? Let's see. I'm still somewhat drowsy, man. Maybe I shouldn't have started streaming. But I already did. I ain't no quitter. So, let's see, what was I working on last time? I noticed this earlier, this to-do list. I haven't kept track of it, have I? Well, to be fair, we've been working this entire time on just that last item that says implementing player animations. That's basically what we've been doing for the last 7 streams. Yeah. So, okay, what was I working on last time? I think I was working on animations and I ended up in a state where the system for one of them was done, but it didn't yet work, so I needed to do debugging on it. Like I had figured out how to, yeah, that's what it was. The error where the hand just goes there and then stays there. And then the player's animation just breaks. And now it's perpetually changing state to animation grab, even though it's no, like as you can see here, even though it's no longer, it no longer should be in that animation state. So what is going on? Good question. Good question. Okay, let's go to the animator, right? When you change to grab, that's your full body state, right? So you have a whole anim state that changes to grab, and then presumably it's just never changing out of it. Like that's the beginning. That's the first issue, right? So when should it change out of it? Well, when any of these other states change from grab to something else, then it should go back, right? So probably here, as well as everything else, tell the whole animation state to be none. And also do that. Is it none? Is that the name? I think it is. Yes. Okay, so tell the whole animation state to be none. Tell that also here. And this one we haven't yet figured out. This one's whatever. Then also oh yeah, this is a bit of an issue cause the issue is that the body animation can still idle, walk, and break while that is happening, and by design in the motor, that's just what it is. Like the grab is just a sort of uninterrupted action that happens separately from the movement. So I can't just have these determine that, oh, we're done with the grab now, because that would break the animation, because it wouldn't necessarily be done. To be fair though, the grab animation is pretty dependent on the state of the hands and not really on the state of the body. So maybe I could allow to walk and just have the animation slide a little bit if you happen to be running fast, right? How would that look? But to begin with, does it even work? Right, it doesn't. Okay, so part of it must be that you're never coming into this, right? And that would mean that the main hand and state is not really changing, is it? So it's not going from grab to something else. That would imply that the timer is not going. The grab timer, right? So that will be here on the main hand. And I remember there was something like that. Yes, I made it so that the timer doesn't start until the hand has decided at the beginning of. Oh, right, yeah. Because then that means, that I have to set right. And that's what. Yeah, that's the issue. Okay. The issue is that I set it up so that the timer would only kick off when the animator determined it, right? And this was so that the animation would sort of begin with a bit of a delay, right? So that the animation would have control of the hands for a little bit, and then it would give it back to the hand controller, right? That is because that's how the animation looks. So I have to actually pass on that control by setting a variable here. So that will be somewhere around here, right? See, this animation lasts a second. It will be right at this point, right when it changes sprites. So let's just. Oh, how do I land up that precise spot, like frame by frame, though? Well, actually, these are trackable. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna need another variable here, and it will have to be a variable that's within, I'm pretty sure, the main hand, right? And that animation is, it's a parameter, it's not a texture. It's grab currently reaching. So yeah, grab currently reaching starts at the beginning as no, and then becomes yes. And that yes, it's what gives control to the hand, the hand script, right? And then when it gives control to the hand script, then the hand script sets up the timer, and when it sets up the timer expires, and then we exit grab state, right? So how does that look? Does that work then? Well, it did something different, but the hand snapped to just kind of somewhere very mysteriously. It did something different though, so that is affecting things. Okay, so is the hand script even detecting that has happened? Like it should, right? Where is it? Where is it? Where is what I'm looking for? Let's see. So the hand script, right? It should be in process, right? It should be checking that every frame. Hey, if you're in physics process works. No, it wouldn't be, yeah, because you're doing grabbing behavior, so you should be in grabbing behavior. So if grab currently reaching, then yes. Otherwise, so if grab is not currently reaching, then your global position is going to be equal to the hold position. We have to correctly say that the grab was not reaching in the previous frame, right? And then you begin the grab reach. Oh, yeah, and the rest of it should only happen if this is not the first frame. Because these rely on those numbers being set up. I think? I'm not sure actually. Let me go check. Begin grab reach is a function that exists here. It emits the grab reach signal. It goes away if the current state of the hands is not grabbing. That's just error checking. It starts the timer. That's good. It checks if it's currently touching a grabbable, and if it is, then it immediately touches it, right? It immediately grabs it, because we don't need to enter its area, we're already in it. That's what this is. No, this is not setting any variables that would mess up with this, right? You create a variable that is your desired position. You check what you're currently chasing grabbable is. And if it is null, right, so is this variable correctly set up? It should be, because the player sets that up. When does the player set that up? The player sets that up in here. So on player hands grab initiated, the player should do this, and this happens when the main hand sends the grab initiated signal. The main hand sends the grab initiated signal when here, when the state of the machine changes. And that is way before, that is like when the animation begins, this thing does that. Then the player sets up this variable, right? And so it shouldn't be unset later. Okay, maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's being unset later. So we have to check that variable. They're currently chasing grabbable. Currently chasing grabbable here. It is set by the player and then used. It's used there and there. Actually, let me just check that better. No, not that. Currently chasing grabbable. That's the one that we care about. Okay, so let's check all the matches. So first here, the definition, right here, that's comment. That is a check, so it doesn't change it. That is a usage, so it also doesn't change it. And here it is set to null, but that only happens when it enters a body. It only happens if it enters a body and its current state is grabbing. Yeah, if it enters the body, that body is a grabbable, the current state is grabbing. The grabbable can be grabbed. And the state machine can go into holding. So all of that only happens if you've grabbed the thing. That's the only place where this changes to something else. Or it should be, right? Unless it's changing in some other script. Okay, so what is actually happening? I press the button to grab, and the hand teleports to what seems like the 0, 0 coordinates. Yeah, well, actually, we should probably confirm that. Is that the case? In this test scene, if I create a node, sprite node, and I put it in coordinates 0, 0, 0, yeah, I don't need to check, it's already there. So yeah, it's just going to world position 0, 0, 0. Why? That's the question. Well, the hand moves, and don't save that change. The hand moves when it begins grab, right? To begin with, why does the hand move immediately? It should trigger the animation and then do the wind-up and only start moving after that wind-up is over. But instead, the animation is not happening. The player does not change to the sprites that it should be. Is the animation tree not hooked up? It wasn't. I don't expect that that would fix it, but let's try anyway. That was better? Oh god, it looks like that fucking Mr. Krabs meme. Okay, it's not going back to the normal animation, but that is fine, we can deal with that later. Why does the hand teleport to the point? It's not doing it now. It's okay. A bunch of weird things are happening, and we're gonna have to go through all of them one by one, basically. But let's start by this. The animations are working fine. I press the grab button, and then the hand goes to the point 0, and then it starts moving. After that, it never does that again. So something about that first state makes the hand want to go to 0 in world coordinates to the origin point. So what might that be? Okay, in order, what happens when I press the grab button? Let's begin from that. When I press the grab button, the first thing that happens is that the input processor, which is a global script that is always running, sets this button state of the grab input to pressed for one frame, and then on the next one it sets it to held. Now it should be that we're only listening to this state. Then who's listening to that? The main hand should be the one listening to that. So we're in idle mode, right? The hand is. So first, the player runs, every frame it's running the query input function. The query input function checks if the grab input has been pressed, and if it has been, it prints this, well, only if it's chatty, and then if grab is enabled, which it should be because otherwise it won't react at all, it's going to set this variable grab executed to the result of try change hand game state on the state machine. That part is happening because otherwise nothing will happen, nothing will react. So then you change the state. That makes the hand state machine do a bunch of shit, right? Basically it checks, okay, in the state that we are right now, can we go to grabbing? And so it's going to do that, and it's going to check against this table, and it's going to come to the conclusion, yes, we can change to grabbing because we're in idle, and the idle to grabbing is a valid option. And so it's going to be part of this table, so it is going to emit the hand state change signal. It's going to say, hey, we have changed to that state. Yeah, that's because of its parent function. So it's going to change to that state, it's going to know that it did that, it's going to have it in a variable, and then it's going to emit this signal. Now the player hand is listening to that signal. So it should be here on state machine hand change. So on the new state that is grabbing is going to start doing some stuff. First of all, it's going to emit another signal to tell the rest of the game, hey, I changed state, right? And then other things are listening to that. It's going to check, is the new state idle and the old state grabbing? It is not. We're entering grabbing, right? So none of this happened. Then it's going to check, is the new state grabbing? Yes, it is. So then it's going to initialize grab was reaching previous frame to false. So yeah, just that variable as false. Oh, am I not resetting this variable? Or well, not that one, but yeah, we have to also set this variable. This grab currently reaching has to also be set to false when that happens. Grab was reaching previous frame has to be set to false, and then grab currently reaching has to also be set to false. They have to both be set to false. Even though the animation should be setting it to false itself as well, we're going to double it up here because there may be a timing issue of one frame. So let's see, does that... Okay, that doesn't fix that error. But it does make it work consistently now, where the hand is always going to some mysterious which is not the 0 point in the coordinate system. I don't get it. Why does that cause such a big difference? Because now it's always coming on from my side, always coming on from what the hand is right now, which is kind of what I would expect. But if I change this to the grab was currently reaching, then how is the hand position being changed when the grab is reaching? Like that's kind of the issue here, right? When the hand is reaching, begin grab reach. Yeah, when the grab is currently reaching, then okay. So first of all, what difference does this all make? Right? What difference does it make to put that in the else or not? Yeah. Now it's back to just being in a weirdly random place. Yeah, it's not always the integer, the start of the coordinate system. Yeah. It seems to have some weird kind of memory of what was the last thing that it grabbed. I don't really get it. Like, there's a correlation here that I don't understand. You know? If the grab is not currently, yeah, the grab is currently reaching and it was reaching the previous frame, then we're going to update the position, right? Then you check, you create a variable desired position. You check if the current chasing grabbable is null. And if it is, then it means that we haven't detected the grabbable, right? So okay, let's begin by printing that. Print the grabbable. Print. Actually, let's just do this a bit better. Let's create more debug messages that might help me in the future as well, right? So if I go to the player, I can do this. And then just we tell the player to be chatty. Right, okay. Can I take the name of this? Yeah. Okay, so first of all, let's take the animator and just make it less chatty so that it doesn't clog up the messages. If found grabbable does not equal null, then print this. Otherwise, player didn't find a grabbable to pass to main. Right? So if I'm sort of far enough. Hold on, what's my range? Right, because that area is the range of the detection, that circle that you can very faintly see, right? So if I'm like here, it shouldn't detect anything. Yeah, I didn't find a grabbable to pass to my hand in neither of these occasions. If I'm here, it should find that one over there, the slow one. Heavy, yeah. Okay, so that part is working fine, right? It's not finding grabbables where it shouldn't. So okay, we're good on that. Let's see, the main hand is calculating its desired position based on the currently chasing grabbable, which shouldn't be null, right? Because we just set it up here, so it wouldn't be null. It sets its desired position to the default grabber, to the default grab positioner, global position. That is if it doesn't find anything. No, it doesn't set it. It set the desired position, then it calculates its global position as move towards from the desired position, which is a global, right? We establish it here, always a global. So I mean, oh wait, right, that's why the hand moves immediately, because if it's not grab currently reaching, then it's doing this part of the code. And in this part of the code, it's taking the hold position and pasting it onto its global position. And what's the hold position then? It's a global position, yes. Where do I set that up? Because if it's not set up, then it's going to be 0, and if it's 0, then it's going to be... then it's going... If it's 0, then it's just going to snap to the origin. So when is that set up? The hold position is set up when the grab timer times out. Hold on, what? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing. This part of the code only needs to run after. Right? After the grab has been completed, not before. And so what it is doing right now is it's running this, then this again. And the code is only expecting to be running this and then this. Right? Okay, so how do I get it to run that bit on in the beginning? I could do a flag, but I have too many flags, man. The idea, yeah, the problem is that we want the grab is divided into 3 phases which all have different behavior. So what I could do is do a mini state machine here, right? It's not really, but it's kind of. So let's do it like this. We have enums. We create an enum. How do I create enums? I always forget. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Enum, the name of the thing, and the thing. Okay, let's just copy it so that I don't forget. Main hand. Okay, we're gonna create an enum here. This enum. Actually, let's put it above the signal so that all the variables are close together. This enum is the grab phase. The grab phase has 3: startup, reach, and pull back, right? Then we have a variable that is the variable current grab phase. Current grab phase. It is of type grab phase, right? Then the idea is this. This variable is going to govern which bit of the grab we are on, and it is going to. All I have to do is make sure that this is changed properly. So when the grab begins, when the state machine has changed to state grabbing, then the current grab phase is going to be equal to grab phase point startup, right? That's how we tell it that we're a startup. Then when the grab reach has begun, then the current grab phase changes to reaching. I think that's what I called it. It's reach, right? Which is to reach. And then when so that means that none of this really matters. So I can just put it back here. And then when the grab, else I'm gonna have to shift this down because the logic for what actually I have to do here is not this. And then so if the grab is currently reaching but it wasn't the previous frame, that means that we've changed from startup to reach. If no, the logic for this can be easier. We can just say if current grab phase equals startup equals grab phase point startup, then pass. Here I don't want you to do anything because the one that is in control is the animator. I'm going to explicitly write it as pass though, so that it's very obvious in the code that there are 3 phases, right? So the animator has control. The player animator has control, right? If otherwise, actually I could do this with a match. How do I do matches? I always forget. That just writes tire. And state machine. Yeah, it's match like that, and then yeah. Match. Current grab face. Grab face point startup. Then pass. Grab face point reach. Then to something else. And grab face point pull back. Wait, what did I call it? I did call it pullback. Oh, why wasn't it showing on the autocomplete? Grab face point pull back. Pass as well. Okay, so now I have to decide what goes in each of these. Well, not decide. I have to figure it out actually. Right. So first of all, you have to check the conditions to check for the conditions to pass on to the next one. So the flag that the animator controls that tells you that this bit is over is the grab currently reaching, right? So if if grab currently reaching just ends up being true at any point, that means that the animator changed it, so we have to account for that. If grab currently reaching, then you have to begin the grab reach. That means doing all the logic of that, which includes, or should include, changing to grab face reach. So let's go there. Yes, we do change it, okay. We know that the startup begins because when the grab begins, we just define that. So that's just going to happen no matter what. If the grab phase is in reach, how do we know that we have to go back to pullback? That is when the timer dies. When the grab timer dies. And when the grab timer dies, it is not the grab cooldown, the grab timer. So here we change to pullback. So grab base equals current grab base actually. Current grab base equals grab phase, the one that is called pullback. We change this variable back just sort of do the thing. Full positions. Yeah, let's assume that all that logic works. And then we're going to go into this state. Okay, so then how do we check what's the logic for this? Well, first of all, this bit doesn't need to exist. This is serving the same role as this, right? We don't need to check if the grab was reaching on the previous frame because we know that it wasn't because we're on phase startup. If it was, then we would have been in reach the previous frame, right? So then we might actually not need this variable anymore. So then, yeah, that's just this. Then this is the actual behavior of when the grab is currently reaching. So for the reach, it's all of this. And it has to be one slot to the left. Right? Then for the pullback, the logic is all of what was in the else. So all of this. But actually, we don't need to know this variable anymore. In fact, every mention of this variable should probably just go. So let's grab what's reaching previous frame. Let's just remove it from... Let's remove it from here so that the compiler will tell me every place. So here, yeah, we don't need it here because this is just setting it so that we can check it, but we're not checking it because we're checking this instead, the grab phase. Otherwise, we're also setting it up here, but that's beginning setup. It doesn't actually matter. Okay, does that fix it? Please, Lord Jesus. Okay, well, it's erroring in a way that is more expected. Like in a way that makes sense to me, right? So I would say that this is probably good progress, even though it's still bugging the fuck out. Okay, let's see if I can, because the first time that you press it, it definitely does something different to the rest of the times, right? Okay, it does trigger on timing, but it's not pulling back, right, is it? So first of all, let's see if the player, I don't need the player to tell me this. The main hand, I may want the main hand to tell me a couple of things. First of all, the state machine. Can you tell me every state that you're changing to? That would be nice. State machine. If you are not within range to reach a grabbable. Okay, you transition, yeah, you can see below. You transition from idle to grabbing, and it's not transitioning back ever. So, yeah, there should be, when the cooldown, yeah, when the grab timer times out, if the grab is currently reaching, then set it to false. And you start the timer again. Ah, okay. So I know I know what's happening. Yeah. This was checking this grab currently reaching variable, but we don't actually want to check that now because we've set up this other one. So when the grab timer times out, there's only two possible scenarios. It timed out because we finished reaching and should begin pulling back, or because we finished pulling back and so we should end the grab. That is the part that is not currently being checked because it's initial. So yeah, if the grab phase, if the current grab phase equals grab phase point grabbing reach, then begin pullback, set the grab currently reaching to false so that we're not reaching anymore, start the grab timer again, and set your hold position to your current global position so that you'll stay in place. Otherwise, if the current grab phase, and we're gonna explicitly check this even though it should always be true when you reach this bit of code, is the grab phase point pullback, then tell the state machine, hey, try to change back to state idle, please. And then change the grab phase state back to... Well, actually, no, it doesn't matter because we're exiting the grab phase, so the grab phase variable is irrelevant from that point on, right? I think? I'm not actually too sure. What's the thing that's happening with me right now? My shoulders kind of hurt, man. I have no idea why. It didn't like, it hurts like when I work out, right? Like when I work out a bunch and like I just decide, ooh, I want to go, I feel like going hard today, and then I just do a bunch of like I don't know, like knee lifts with like the arms, right? Like it hurts like that, like muscle soreness, but I haven't done that yet, right? I worked out on Tuesday, I think, last time, which I know, yes, I should be, I should do it more often. I should have done it yesterday as well, or today. Maybe I will do it today later, I don't know, depends on how I feel. It hurts as if I worked out is the point, and... But like, if it was that from Tuesday, then it would have hurt yesterday. I would have felt sore yesterday. So what's... Oh no, it's squared, squared by. Let's... Um... Right, so that should make it work. I don't know why that would make it work, but it feels like fixing a bit of the logic, right? The hand is correctly going back to idle. It's just kind of teleporting when it does, which I feel like it wasn't doing before. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, it was, because... Yeah, it was. It was because I changed that when I was working out the animation so that it would follow the thing rather than trying to lerp to it. Yeah, no, that makes sense, okay. It doesn't look too bad for it to do that. Okay, okay, so it's doing that bit. Then I just need water, man. Okay, so that part is fine. It's now doing the thing. It's now the hand transition is now working, so that's good. We can just get rid of this and just have the state machine shut the fuck off for a little bit. Okay, so the question is now, why is the animation not changing back? Right? Why is the animation staying in grabbing animation? Right? Like, why is that? Main hand, player, right here on the animation tree, this script. It should have something to do with this. So first of all, right, let's check the messages. Right? So look down here. It says that it changed the animation to idle plus idle. But if you see this, it's not just idle plus idle. This is what idle plus idle looks like. Right? You see, it began idle plus idle, so it's doing this animation. So you're correctly determining that that's the animation that you should be doing, but for some reason you're not doing it. Which means that you're running this code with the correct parameters. You're doing the idle plus idle. Like, you're going in here, you're determining that you should do, oh, full animation state is none, so I should do a broken transition. You set the broken transition, you said idle, walk, run, I know what it is. Yep. Because this one supersedes that one. So I have to actually set this up to the other one. So I have to set the body animation, the hand animation, and also the whole animation. And this one should be broken, I think that's what I called it. I got the animation tree right here. It is, yeah, it should be broken. That should do it, right? So go here. Okay, systematically it works. The animation could be faster, but it works. Yeah, like you can see how it like does that reach. Like it just does it, whoop, ah, and then reaches. It looks great. It could be faster. It could be way snappier. The animation does not look pretty, but right now I'm looking for functionality. Okay, the animation should be a lot shorter as well, so that when it's done, it should just... hold on, actually, I'm just thinking of it. Okay, let's try playing that animation at like, I don't know, times like whatever speed, like times 3 or something. Let's give it like a speed control and make it way faster. Right. If I can just do a time scale here, make it scale up to like 3, so it's 3 times as fast, and then plug that into here. It's just making the same animation faster, right? That might be a bit too fast. Hold on. Actually, this doesn't... I just realized. Oh, this still doesn't... Yeah, this has reintroduced a bug where you can reach infinitely. If you just press the grab button again, it should ignore that if it's currently in grabbing state, shouldn't it? I hate when bugs get reintroduced. Okay, right, so... Okay. Okay, but we're making headway, right? This is slowly starting to fall into place. Stumble into place, more like, honestly. That's what it feels like. Like it's like falling into place, but falling down a set of stairs. That's the game development experience, isn't it? So the issue is that it's listening to the grabbing variable even though it's already in the grabbing, or to the grabbing signal even though it's already in grabbing state, right? So presumably that will be because the state machine is allowing a change that it shouldn't. Like it's allowing a grabbing to grabbing change which it shouldn't, right? That would be my first inclination. So is that what's happening? Please tell me. Here. Yeah, you see here in the print messages, it's changing. The state machine is saying that it's transitioning from grabbing to grabbing. That's what it should not allow to do. So it's just a matter of telling the state machine, hey, that's not actually a valid transition, you know. Grabbing, yeah, possible transitions, grabbing as int to grabbing as int should not be true. That's not a valid transition. If you're grabbing, you're not allowed to start grabbing. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's... Ooh, oh my god, I'm so proud of the state machine system that I made because that was such an easy fix. Right. This is why programmers start raving and shit about coding patterns and stuff. Because they are useful. Right, okay. Progress is happening. It is happening. I'm still, I'm still kind of sleepy. That energy drink worked, but like only for a little bit. Oh man, I wish I had realized how sleepy I was before I started the stream. And I would have just cancelled it. Well, I'm not that sleepy, but I'm just enough for it to be a little bit annoying. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Right. So the issue now is we just fixed the issue with the hand having an infinite reach. The issue now is just sort of that this animation doesn't look very good. Like you just slide in place, don't you? Right. Like the thing that I wonder is if the animation should just, once it's done. That was really great. Oh, because it was a jump. That's why. Yeah, it's a jump, so those animations, I don't have sprites for those animations yet. Just takes whatever was the last one. Okay, the transitions on the animations look good. It's just that the reach just kind of lasts too long, and if you're moving during it, it just sort of stays there, and I don't think it should. So okay, here's a bit of an issue about game mechanics actually. Like, because here's the thing, I'm wondering right now if it should be the case. That looks great. Look at that. I like that little slide animation. It's honestly just the best animation this little guy has. Okay. Because the issue right now that I'm facing is, do I want the guy to be able to have full freedom movement during the grab? Because a thing that I could do to make this look good is to have the grab freeze him in place, right? And this is one of those times where you kind of want to make a prototype of both versions, don't you? Because this is one, like, okay, I do have a bit of a, what some would say, bad habit of letting myself be led by my own design sense and intuition a lot, right? And generally I think that I have good instincts as a designer for this kind of thing. I don't really build a lot of prototypes, right? Like I have a clear enough idea of what I want in my mind and I know how to sort of work it, right? But right now I'm really hesitant on which one feels better. Like I really don't know which one I want. Which one facilitates the style of gameplay that I want. I think it may be worth it to just make both versions and then keeping whichever one feels best and asking other people, like having playtesters and prototypers. Or not prototypers, playtesters for two different prototypes for of the movement system. Because the two options that I'm considering here are the grab animation and sequence is a lot shorter, like half a second long, right? And the guy completely loses any movement during it. So long as the grab is happening, the guy is frozen in place. Or the guy has full control like it has right now, and then we need like animation or extra sprites for grab animation during it, or the system to account for that and do the running animation while the grab is happening, right? And I'm not sure which one works better for this. Because see, from freezing the player in space during it can feel pretty good. It can feel like you're just sort of snapping, right? Like, I can think of games that do something like that, like, Sonic, for example. Sonic, when Sonic does the homing attack, he loses all momentum. The homing attack on the 3D games, he loses all momentum. Like, he just stops on a dime and then zoops towards the place that he's going, right? And this sort of feel like that. It's not the main character going that way, but it's close enough, right? There's precedent for games that do that. As for grabbing while running, that feels a lot more like Kirby, right? Like Kirby, when he's doing the sucking, he still has full control of his movement, right? He's bringing things to himself. He doesn't lose control while that is happening. The worst of both worlds would be to prevent the player from moving, but to let him be affected by gravity and physics. That's the one that I don't like. That's the one that would feel terrible, right? Because then you just have a half second. You just have like 1 whole second of complete helplessness, right? It's like the issue that I have with Mario Sunshine, for example, when Mario Sunshine platforming is exactly that feeling. You should never feel that helpless. If you stay frozen in place until it happens, then it just feels like one action that you take. Just snap, you're frozen, you go to where you need to go, right? And then it completes from there. If that time of freezing doesn't feel like loss of control, it feels like the game giving you a little breather, right? Think of it like an impact frame. That's the feeling that it has. Whereas if the player keeps moving, then it's more fluid, right? Because you don't stop. The movement doesn't stop. So you can just have the movement be a lot more fluid. It feels like it starts and stops. It flows without end. Like, both of those are pretty valid options. I'm not really sure about which one I want. I'm trying to think now about how I would implement a thing like that. Right? Because I want to do both, right? Like the one that I'm doing right now, like that one is already implemented just by default, just as it is, right? The problem is lacking the animations. The problem is if I go to a playtester, if I get somebody external to playtest and ask them, hey, which one feels better? They're gonna say the other one, but not because the movement actually feels better. They're gonna say that it feels better because it has all the animations, right? Or at least there's a risk. I can't say for sure that it will, but there's a risk that the lack of animations will influence the judgment a lot more, right? So I would need to either get the full placeholders for that sort of animation as well before I can test properly, or just make it just send it to playtest with no animations, so it's just a blank sprite. That would feel terrible to do that just because of how long I've spent working on the animations, haven't I? Okay, let's do the following. Let's grab my to-do list here. We're going to change a little bit of this because we're going to update what we wanted. So first of all, implementing player animations, at least at the skeleton, we've done that. That is done. Completed successfully. Great. Amazing. There's still more player animations to implement, but like the base system and everything, I'm gonna call it done. And then we're gonna, further out, we're gonna add animations on an animation per basis to the bullet list, right? Oh, excuse me. Okay, so what we need now is to prototype grab behavior. One option A, full movement during grab. Option B, stop, full stop, no physics during grab. This means that I'm gonna have to make a fork in the GitHub repo, right? I'm gonna have to make 2 forks so that I can test both of them separately, and hopefully have them be independent, have the code for them be independent enough that I can still work on other things before I've tested it, right? Then it would merge nicely. Hopefully, that is always the hope. Then I also need to do the punch action, which is the action that you get if you use the punch button before the... If you use the punch button before having grabbed anything. That's your default ability, right? Is the punch, and that one gets overridden if you have something in your hands. Obviously, you can't punch if you're using your hands to hold something, right? Can you? So it feels natural, and it allows for this sort of slotting in and out of abilities. And it also prevents the occasion where you're just gonna be carrying things kind of just because, right? Because if I didn't give you a default ability, then you would always want to be carrying at least one thing, right? Instead, I want you to just sort of run from place to place with nothing in your hand, so that you can use the punch and then use the things when you need them, right? They should have specific usages. I mean, I don't want to prevent the player from just grabbing something and dragging around the entire level, like the fucking companion cube in Portal. I want that to be a thing that you can do, but not the thing that you necessarily want to do, you know? I also want to take a little break. Give me a little second, because I have to go to the restroom. Okay. Hot streamer tip number 2. Don't eat beans before you stream. Don't do that. It's not a great idea. Hello, Hot Plug. Nice to see you. What a thing to come back to. Yes, Sleepy Dev, that's me. That's very much me. Yeah, don't eat beans right before streaming. Don't. If that's what you have for lunch, maybe delay the lunch a little bit. Maybe just don't stream that day, or have lunch later, eat a snack before or something, or eat a little bit less. I don't know, just do something, man, cause fuck. God, I felt like I was fighting for my life there in the bathroom. Okay, let's not talk too much about that. That's disgusting. Right, so what was I doing? Right, I was thinking of doing the 2 prototypes. I'm doing the prototypes for the game, for the movement of the game in one particular aspect, where I need to do 2 things. Yeah, I need the movement to try it. Oh god, I'm losing my train of thought here. It hasn't been a good coding session, man. I'm so out of it. I'm sleepy. No, I'm not sleepy. I'm just out of it, man. I'm just super out of it. I'm not in my top form. To be fair, I am slightly coming down from a bit of a cold that I was stricken with, but it was very slight. So I don't know. I thought I would be better today, right? I didn't want to just not stream because I haven't done it as much as I would like. I wanted to stream three times this week. That was my objective. I may stream tomorrow. But I feel so out of it. I really... Okay, let's get started on those prototypes. So here, I am going through... You can't see what I'm doing, but that's because I'm working on the repository right now. I'm working on the repo on GitHub. So I'm going to create a commit message, a commit with the progress from right now, which is set up the grab animation, which is what I did. Commit, and then push the source, right? And so what we want here is we want to split the master branch, which I shouldn't be working on just straight, but because I'm the only dev, I'm just doing it. Sick that I break the rules. Right, okay, so what am I doing then? I am Right. So then I'm going to need to make two branches, right? So create a new branch. How do I do that again? Gotta merge. New branch. Yes, I want a new branch. This is the one branch is going to be freeze movement. So that's the branch where I'm going to change the movement to freeze whenever you start a grab, so that way you just stop following any physics. You stop falling, you can't move, but you stop falling and you stop like doing everything, right? Then the grab happens and then you keep moving. So it's just a little bit of a breather, like a time, and it should feel, hopefully, like those times in Sonic, in the 3D Sonic games, where you use the homing attack. Like Sonic freezes in place for a tiny bit of time before he does the homing attack, right? Even no matter how fast he's running, he just freeze dash, right? And so it gives it that sort of start and stop quality, right? It gives the player a little bit of a breather to catch their surroundings in what is otherwise a very hectic game. But it also doesn't really stop the action for long enough to be a problem. And then we're gonna have another one where it's continuous movement. We're gonna create that branch as well. Continuous movement, and that is going to be where the player just doesn't stop. The player retains full control as they perform the grab, and so just it flows easier from getting to end, right? It just sort of flows. And you never feel like you're losing control. I feel like both of those might feel good, and we have to choose one. I'm going to have to prototype those and then test them with somebody. So basically the flow version we already kind of have. Like that is pretty much what's happening, right? You sort of do the grab. I just have to adjust the timings for it, but that's basically what's happening. I grab and you can see that I can still keep moving. The hand just sort of moves independently of me, doesn't it? I think that should be happening is that the other hand should be following the main hand though. Like I just now realized that. Like the other hand shouldn't stay behind, they should both go together to try to grab the object. So we should probably fix that before we do the branch, actually. So let's go back to the master branch. And Right, so I remember I did something to prepare for that, right? So I'm pretty sure I gave the offhand... Yes, I think that was following main hand. And so the main hand just needs to activate that, doesn't it? When it begins a grab reach, the offhand reacts by setting its following main hand to true. So is this just not happening? Actually, let's just variable. Let's create a new variable that is just for the offhand to tell me some things about itself. When the offhand is chatty, it should tell me whenever this happens. Print offhand says began following main hand, and then when it stops following, well, we don't have it set up to stop following ever really, so right. So you see here the offhand did not actually spit out any message. So that means that this isn't happening. And this is connected from a signal from the main hand. So when the main hand begins its grab reach, then the offhand should do its thing. So begin the grab reach, that is cancel. Where is it? It is begin the grab reach, that is this signal right here. And that is used here. It's emitted here. And I know that this is happening, so you should be emitting that signal. Why is this not connecting? Oh, wait, no, yeah, I'm stupid. I didn't tell it to tell me, I just gave it the possibility of it. Okay, first of all, there's a lot of messages clogging the thing. Let's try to just make those disappear a little bit. Okay, so the offhand, yes, begins following the main hand. It thinks it's doing it, but it's not actually, right? It's just sort of staying here. So why is it staying here? Following main hand equals true. Then in the process, so in the next frame, if following main hand, then your global position is alerted from the main hand to the offhand. Follow position to global position, the resulting lerp strength. Is it just that the lerp strength is really slow? No? Well, to begin with, are you even lerping? Printed, tell me the lerp value. Global rotation. Resulting lerp strength printed here. So throughout this entire thing, you think that the lerp strength is further up, further up. Right here, it's 1, right? This entire time. So it should just be going to... That would tell me that it should be going to this position every time. So what is this position? It's the main hand point offhand follow position. Okay, what's your main hand offhand follow position? It is the one labeled offhand follow position, which is this. So it's that marker there. Let's give it a sprite. This is where the offhand should... This is where the offhand should be. The offhand should just be here, following, right? So it should cling to that square, right? When I activate the grab. But it's just not. Right? Like it should go to it. So why is it not doing that? Is it that you are changing? Like, is it that you're not following main hand? Like, this becomes true, but then it gets turned into false straight away. Is it that? Oh, wait, no, I know what it is. Yeah, you're setting yourself to that position, but then you're immediately unsetting it because I made this an if instead of an else if. Yeah, now they both go together. I mean, it looks like shit because of that square, but you know. Square, 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 right? So now both hands sort of go together, right? Like. Yeah, the problem is that the up hand does not stop following the main hand, so it just sort of stays. The other problem is that the main hand, for whatever reason, has decided to stay rotated by whatever animation it was doing before, instead of changing to the rotation in the moment of that animation. So let's sort of fix that a little bit. Also, this animation is really hard to see because it's too fast. So let's make this 1.8 instead of 3, which is almost half. And that looks a lot better. So the hands are independent here, and then it does that. Okay, so when the hand finishes its grab, it should tell the up hand to release, right? If main hand begins the grab reach, then it does that. When main hand releases the grab reach, it should do something different. It should release that. It should release the other hand and let it just do its thing. So the way that that works is... I'm getting super sidetracked here, like mentally. Like these long moments of silence, they're just me completely zoning out for a second. Persevere, man, persevere. Here's the thing, I could very easily say, I am not in a good state to be coding, I'm not working on my best, so I'm gonna leave for another day. And there is a valid choice sometimes. But there's also an importance of building a habit, man. The days where you feel like you're doing the worst are the days where you should be trying the hardest. Not because you'll do good work during those days, but because pushing through the fog makes it so that your mind gets used to doing it. And if you do it enough, you get to the state where it becomes a habit to work on what you want. That was weirdly motivational. That not my usual sort of style. I'm gonna go stand in front of a green screen and start screaming, "Do it!" You know, like fucking Shia LaBeouf. God, that's an old video. Did I just out myself as like a fucking old ass millennial? Well, I've never denied it. Okay, yes. That was a really lame video, by the way. The Shia LaBeouf video. It was really stupid. It wasn't good motivational. It was just kind of stupid. We enjoyed it mostly ironically, I think. Well, I did. I didn't enjoy it. It was annoying. It was annoying at the time. You get used to those things. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing here? Yes, I need the main hand to tell the up hand to stop following it when it stops doing the grab. The main hand stops doing the grab when it changes. Okay, when is it actually? When does it just change back? It is on the pullback. It's as soon as the pullback begins. No, it's not as soon as the pullback begins. As soon as it changes state from grabbing to something else. Yeah. So if you changed, yeah, we can use the state machine. When the state machine hand state changes and the old state was grabbing, then that means that there is a possibility. So if the old state was enums point hand state point grabbing, then tell the offhand, which you should have a reference for, I'm pretty sure. No, do not tell the offhand. You don't have a reference for the offhand. Player, idle, hold anchor, default anchor, throw position, hold position. Yeah, you don't, and it's good that you don't. So then instead you're going to emit a signal. Signal, emit, grab. No, we don't. We have the hand state change signal. We can use that instead. So the hand state change signal is going to be hooked up to the offhand. Is it already hooked up? I wonder. No, it's not. Okay, so we're gonna hook it up. Node signal. Hand state changed to the offhand. Right now the offhand is going to know what state the hand went into. If state changed from as enums hand state, because it's an int right now. Actually, no, I can just do enums hand state. So now it's going to interpret those as hand states rather than as integers, right? Which is what they are. Enums are just sort of internally stored as integers, but it's easier to handle them that way. So if we change from the state of grabbing, right, this is an if. If we changed from the state of grabbing grabbing to something else, anything else, then we have to stop following the main hand. Otherwise, we just ignore it. This is the only thing that we want. Also, it's not hand state, it's hand underscore state. And that should make it so that the offhand stops following the main hand when the reach is over. So, like, oop, follows, stops following. Nope, still following. Okay, let's print that message so that we know. Stopped following main hand. Okay, so the state machine has determined that we changed from grabbing to idle, but it hasn't. But this guy hasn't received the message. Why? The main hand sends that message when? This message. It sends it when the state machine changes. It sends it from new state to old state. So yeah, so it should be sending it. So is the signal being sent? Let's say that. Print. Yes, the signal is being sent. Yes, the signal is being sent. It says it right here. Okay, so this part of the code is running, but this part isn't. So you think for some reason that the state being changed from is not the hand state grabbing, even though it says here that it is. It's new and old. New first, old later. Then X player hands was notified of state machine state change. So yeah, are the hands being notified correctly of the state machine state change? Well, I wouldn't know because you're not chatty. So okay, let's read these messages. The player hands from grabbing to idle, yes. State machine transition from grabbing to idle. Yes, the state is being set, and yes, the player hands were notified of the state machine state change. Okay, so this part works. What are the states? From new state, no, from old state to new state. From old state to new state. Point name. Oh fuck, it just as an int, man. Just as string. Is that a thing you can do? As string. Is that a thing that's even possible? No, it's not. Okay. So then just as an int, man. Just do it as an int. Don't even worry about it. I'll know which one you mean. That's valid. Let's assume that it's gonna be valid. Worst case scenario, we'll just spit up the number anyway. Okay, so what are the messages here? Notified state machine from... Yeah, we went from idle to grabbing. The one that we want to know about is the grabbing to idle. Went from 0 to... Hold on, grabbing to idle, 0 to 0. They should not be the same number. So what that tells me is that the state machine is sending this message, but it's sending it wrong. Where's the state machine? Where's the hand state machine? Here. That message is sent here. Hand state chain. Target state. The current state as enum's hand state. Yep, this is the one. Print those numbers. Tell me what they say. Zero on 0. Oh, I know what it is. Yeah, because the try change state doesn't just check if you can, it actually changes it. So by the time you get in here and you know that this change is possible, current state has already been overwritten. So it already is target state. If it weren't, then you would be here instead. So what I have to do is save the state of the current state to a temporary variable. So variable old, yeah, old state is the current state. Then here, send that old state. That should make it all work. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, now it works. Okay, let's clean all of those prints. Yes, the signal is being sent. Okay, so the player hands. There's one in the player hands, probably in the main hand. Here, yep. So let's make you a little bit less chatty. And then the offhand is also chatty, so we have to fix that as well. The offhand is chatty, and then I'm pretty sure that the offhand, this print exists there, so that up. And that should make so that they just stop talking all the time. And the state machine as well. The hand state machine, stop talking so much. Okay. Okay, so now you have this half animation that just kind of works, right? So I have this, the hand reaches, the hands reach, and then pull back. And they reach together. That is like a pretty critical detail. Is it that he sort of winds up and then reaches? The thing about this is that the other hand should be forward and not behind. Because that way it matches the sort of position that they start in. So in the main hand, this marker that is for the follow position should not be here, but rather here. Right? Yeah. Another issue is that the sprite should definitely flip when the hands face that way. The player is still allowed to obviously just turn around, but it should flip. It should not do this. This wind-up looks terrible when it's facing backwards, right? Also, the offhand is still talking even though I told it to shut up. I probably just forgot to put this line inside of a check to whether it's chatty or not. Yeah, if chatty, do this. Like, only do that if I told you to start talking. You shall speak when spoken to, maggot. So with that in place, right, so what else do we want here? As far as that, we also want the player to flip if the grab happens facing the other direction, and that feels like something that should be handled by the animator, because it's purely a visual effect, really. So how do I flip the player when they're turning around? Yeah, this guy checks with the whole movement handler, so this guy, we need a method for this guy that we can call from elsewhere that just flips it forcefully, right? So let's do that. So Force, flip. And this does flip. Yeah. If I need to know which facing, right? Well, actually, every flipper should have that method, not just this specific flipper. So let's just put it on the base class. So let's do function force flip if current facing equals enums point facing point left, then flip to facing enums point facing point right, else flip. So basically whatever flippage you're on, I want you to flip to the other, right? To facing enums point facing. I don't know why I'm doing this, because this is not actually necessary for the thing that I'm doing, but that I want to do, but whatever. It's good to have this function anyway. Okay, so what I want to do is for the player to flip based on where their target is when they initiate a grab. So basically what I want is for this situation where I'm facing to the left and my hands just sort of reach to the right and it looks kind of awkward because the player does the animation facing forward. I want that to not happen. So I want to, if you try to reach, if the closest object that has been detected is behind you, the player's sprite just flips and does the grab towards the other side, even if you didn't input the movement, right? So what I need to do, right, the main hand is the one that detects that. Well, no, actually, the player is the one that detects that. Oh, that's great, because then that means that I can do this here. So, okay, when you found a grabbable, you should detect whether the grabbable is ahead of you or behind you. And based on that, you should send the signal to the flipper to flip. Problem. How do I detect that it's whether it's in front of it or behind it? Solution would be use a... Yeah, the obvious solution would be to use the obvious solution would be to use a thing where I mean, is there a vector? Actually, I don't think in Unity there's a vector. Like I can just say thing point forward, and it'll be the forward relative to that node. Does Grow have something like that? I think it does. It should be, if it is anywhere, it will be on the base class for the node 3D. Bases, global bases, position, rotation, rotation degrees, global transform, position, quaternion, rotation, 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 scale top level transform, visibility parent, visible. No, none of those. Add gizmo, clear gizmo. You can just add gizmos? Oh, that's useful for like custom tools and whatever. I'm gonna have to look into that later. Get global transform interpolated, get parent node 3D, get world 3D, global rotate, global scale, global translate. What are these? Oh yeah, hold on, what? Oh, okay. Okay. So that part okay. Hide is local transform notification enabled, is scale disabled, is transform notification enabled, is visible in tree, look at from position. Ortho normalize, rotate object local, X, Y, and Z, scale object, set disable scale, set identity, set ignore transform notification, set notify, to global, to local, translate object local. Okay, I don't think there is like just a forward vector that I can use. It's easy to calculate, but I was hoping that I wouldn't have to. let me just look this up on Google a little bit, just so that I can be sure. Godot, is there anything like Unity's point forward property? Achieved by accessing the object's local basis vectors, specifically the negative z-axis. Oh wait. Oh, so well, hold on. I can use the transform basis, can't I? Basis of the transform property represents rotation, scale, and shear of the code of this node. So I can. Hold on, what is a basis actually? That's a 3x3 matrix. This is vector. This is a matrix math. I fucking hate matrices. I don't understand them. I just. Oh, I find it so hard to get them intuitively. Okay. We can just sort of cheat this though, because the player has a default grab position that is always ahead of it, right? Ahead of itself. So what I can do is. Check whether it's closer, whether the object is closer to this position or to the same position, but back. Right? And if the position is forward, then yeah, just stay at this rotation. If it's backwards, then flip. Right? So I can just use that grab position. No, I don't like that. I think there should be a better way to do that. The body sprite is the one inside the flipper. So okay, so the flipper is just the one, right? So this is the one whose position, because the player just stays there. It's a cube, it's always a cube. The flipper is the one that has the facing. So when this thing flips, the player just stays facing the same way. It's only the flipper and all the sprites. It drags all the sprites with it, right? So what I want is for the player to check where this flipper variable is facing. Shit. Vector math. I'm good at this. I know how to do this. It's such pain in the it's a pain in the ass, and I'm rejecting it. Like, I'm trying to think of an easier way, but like I can do it. I can do it. It's just taking the current position of that flipper sprite. Okay, so first we're gonna need a reference to it, right? Aren't we? Yeah, we're gonna need a reference to it. So add export flipper. It's a flipper type, and it is the flipper. We don't need it specifically to be a player flipper right now, but it's the same regardless, because it's a derived class, isn't it? Right? So okay. So yeah, we have that flipper, and so when you find the grabbable, I want you to, let's write it into its own function. Check Right. Is forward. Is object. Is node ahead. And the node is the found grabbable, right? So this is going to be a function that returns true or false. Is node ahead, depending on whether the node is in front of us or behind us, right? Ball going to require a node 3D, so node 3D. So return false. No, it's here. It's here that the column goes up. Then in order to check whether the node is ahead, what I need to do is use that flipper. Flipper points bases? Point forward? Is there like a flipper point forward here? No. Yeah, no, it is the basis because I need its position and its rotation. Yeah, I'm trying to get where its forward is based on what should be only a Y rotation, right? Hold on, what the hell am I doing? Isn't that something that I already did for the movement handler? Yeah, like that's how I do the movement forward along a rail, right? The movement handler does something like this, I'm not sure where. Yes, the path snapper. The path snapper has a position on the curve and gets the current rotation. Then when it snaps the position to the path, what it has is it takes the snapped position as being local to the curve, so it transforms it as a position local to the curve, and then takes that Y rotation degrees. It goes forward and backward. So it just receives this, right? So then it's the movement handler that passes it, right? So it's somewhere that it uses the path snapper or something. Where is your path snapper variable anyway? Oh, because it's part of an extended class. So this is the one that has the path snapper. Okay, yes. So what do you do then? Snap position to path. Yeah, it's this get relative forward. Yeah, it's the vector 3 right rotated by... Yeah, rotated using the up vector as an axle by this many angles. And that's how you get the forward. That's how you get the relative forward. Okay, so now we want exactly this operation, but on the flipper, because the flipper is going to be rotated. Is the flipper going to be rotated, or is its scale going to be -1? That's actually a pretty important consideration here. If its scale is -1, then that's not going to work. Flipping changes your rotation. Okay, good. Oh, yeah, that's what I want. So then in that case, I want player. The flipper should have that functionality. That's not what I want to copy. Okay, so yeah, it's in the input, not the input processor. It's on the movement handler. The movement handler has that function, which is the the base movement handler has the get relative forward function. I want that functionality, but on the flippers as well. And I'm not gonna make a base class out of these two. No way, no fucking way, that's not gonna work. Vector 3 right, and these is not body to move, this is just cell. Right? So that's how you get the relative forward from the flipper. So then the player is going to flipper, point, basis, point, get... No, not flipper. Flipper, point, get, relative forward. And then we have the forward vector. The forward vector for the player. Well, that is just a vector. Like, it's a local vector. I want a global position for that. Don't I? Yeah, I do. This is just a normal rotated vector. It doesn't know where its origin is. So it's just using the origin relatively. Well, that's easy. That's just your normal position plus that, so... Plus that, right? Let's say global, because we have no assurance that the node is going to be part of the same tree. Right, so this is the ahead position variable, ahead position, right? And it's that. Then we need a behind position, variable behind position, that is exactly that, but the relative forward is negative, so it's just facing the other direction, right? Right. So that works, and then we want the... We want to check which one is closer, right, to this node. So how do I check distance from nodes in Godot? I'm pretty sure there's a function for that, just like a function within the vector 3 class in there. So node point global position point distance to ahead position. And if this is larger, no, if this is smaller, if you are closer to the ahead position than to the behind position, then we know that the node is ahead, so return true. If it is not the case, so else, return false. Right? And yeah, there's an edge case where the distance is the same, but like honestly, it doesn't really matter. When the distance is the same, then we don't really care which one it returns, so it might as well just return true. Or false, it might as well just return false. Like, you would have to be super precise for that to happen anyway. I'm gonna take a little break to refill my water bottles. I'm running out and my throat is very dry. Be right back. Just a minute. Alright, I'm back. This would probably be the last bit of development that I do before I switch to the game, just so you know. So yeah, let's keep on. Let's see. Right, so now we have a function that successfully, or should successfully, tell us whether the node that we pass it is ahead of the player or behind it, right? And ahead of the player sprite specifically, that's why we put that function on the flipper, instead of using the one that we already had on the movement handler. No, the movement handler is sprite agnostic. It doesn't really give a shit where the sprite is facing, right? Which is by design. So so in that case, we now can know. So if the node is ahead, then just do nothing. But if it isn't, so if the node is not ahead, then I'm going to want you to force flip the sprite, because it means that we're trying to grab something that is behind us, so the sprite should flip, right? So then, if it's not ahead, then grab the flipper and tell it to, what's the name of the function? It is force flip, right? Then, as well, I want another thing. I want a variable here that is sport. This is just because I figure it's going to be useful at some point. Chatty, and this is going to be for debugging. So if you are chatty, then I want you to print a bunch of messages. So if chatty, yeah, if chatty print the following message, flipper, trying to flip to facing plus new string new facing from new facing from facing string full facing, and that'll just be so that it can tell us when it flips, which way it flips, and all that. What are we talking? New facing? It's not new facing, it's called just current facing. There. Right. So that's just so that it can tell us. I mean, if it's not useful now, it's going to be useful at some point. Okay, so let's see. We look towards the object. We grab. It flip. Okay, but it's flipping me even when I am facing the object. What if I'm facing this way? It seems to be flipping every time. Okay, what's going on here? Play. No, the forward is global rotated. Global is not. Is it global rotated? No. It's okay. Let's do this then. Create a new function just in case this one's useful at some point. Call it get global forward and give the global rotation, and then make sure to use that. So rather than using relative forward, I want you to use global forward. Okay, it keeps flipping every time. If I'm facing ahead and if I'm facing against, it always flips. And it shouldn't. Here it should flip, and it does it correctly. Good. Here it flips. So I know that the flipping functionality is working, but for some reason this function is kinda not. Oh, it was pretty fucking obvious. I just wrote a plus instead of a minus. Typical. No, it's still flipping every time. Okay, maybe that thing that I made with the global forward actually messed it up. Like maybe it was working fine. So let's try with the relative forward and see if that fixes anything. Nope, it flips. It shouldn't. Like, if I'm facing it, it flips. If I'm facing away, it does. Okay, it flips every time, no matter what I do. So that would imply that this function is always returning true. No, always returning false. Which would mean that oh, fucking hell, yeah, because I put a head position and you should be comparing to the behind position. Okay, well now it's... Okay. You're facing, yes. You're not facing, you flip. Yeah, you're facing away, you flip. You're facing forward, you flip. Okay, so now the only thing that I will need to do to get this animation looking prim is to fix the bit where the hands, for whatever reason, are just keeping the rotation that they had before the animation began, instead of fixing themselves to the rotation that the animation sets them to. I don't know why that is the case, honestly. The player should, like, here on the animation player, this grab animation. Okay. I hate you so much, animation tree. Just stop playing. Just stop. Right? Like here, the hands should set their position to somewhere. Right? Like we have them here. Setting their positions to this position, this rotation. So they should have this position stored for at least this many frames. And then and the rotation as well, right? That they're following. And then here when they release, they should start from this position. Unless the main hand stores the position here as like a way to begin the lerp, and that's making it so that it's storing a position before it begins. So in that case, if that were what's happening, then I would expect that would be happening here when the machine, when it receives the signal from the state machine, change to state grabbing. So if the new state is grabbing, grab currently reaching is false, current grab phase is startup, and grab initiated emitted. When you grab initiated emit, what do you do? You grab initiated emit, you're telling the... You're telling the player to do all this shit, right? Yeah, that's the shit that we were doing before. So find the grabbable and then flip the player sprite if the grabbable is ahead. It shouldn't do anything other than that. So then the main hands are... My throat is really dry because I'm talking so much. Right. Hand state. When you change to state grabbing. Yeah, when you change to state grabbing, you tell it that you're not, you tell yourself that you're not currently reaching, you tell yourself that you're on grab phase startup, and then you emit this signal. Then, okay, so then next frame begins, right? Grab phase start. If grab has currently begun reaching, then you do begin grab reach. When you do current grab phase point reach, yeah, tell yourself that the grab phase that we're on is reached now. Then emit the grab reach begin signal. Check with the state machine if we're currently in grabbing state. Start the grab timer. Check if you are touching a grabbable. And if you're touching a grabbable, then do onBody enter equals touched grabbable. Okay. Then go to... Then the next frame begins, and now you're in grab phase reach. Your desired position is a vector 3. Check if you have a currently chasing grabbable, right? And just set up the objective, the target, that's what this is. Do your global position from the global position that you're currently on towards this entire... Yeah, it all works with the global position that they're currently on, so if nothing is moving it, then it shouldn't go back to that position ever, right? Like that position is being... Okay, hold on. Let me do something to check something. Like, is the animation player actually taking control of the hands properly at any point? Like, if I take this main hand idle position and I put it like rather than in 147 minus 147, put it like in 12, right? Does the hand actually ever move to that position? Right, because I stopped the animator. Does it ever actually go to like minus 12 all the way up there? Doesn't... It doesn't. It doesn't. Okay, so then I know what's happening. Okay, so yeah, okay, minus, before I forget that number, minus 0.147, just like there. Yeah, I know what's happening. Yeah, what's happening is that the bit that makes the hand follow that, this target here is something, it's a bit of code that is in the idle behavior, the follow anchor point. And that is not happening when you're doing this. So during the entire startup, this anchor point is moving, but you're not moving the hand to match it. So that's the behavior that I want during the startup, following the anchor point. Still, because that makes it so that the animation works. There you go, that's a lot better. Yeah, now they're rotated the right way. What? What happened? Oh, yeah. If the node exists at all, right? So yeah, this shouldn't happen if there isn't a node. If found grabbable doesn't equal null, then you check that. Actually, since it's just two ifs chained, I can always just put it like that. Just check them like that, because I'm pretty sure that the truth value checking is lazy, which means that if this one is false and they're an AND, then it doesn't bother checking this one. Well, now it's not flipping. Well, he flipped. Oh, yeah, he's not flipping because I kept moving. Okay. I'm fine with that, right? Yeah, I need to adjust the times so that it doesn't just sort of linger for so long. Okay, let's go to a place where there's no grabbables. And then I'll see... Yeah, it doesn't crash anymore, so that's great. Okay, that's good. Look at him, look at him. He runs, he jumps little by little. All the animations are sort of being put in place, right? Like, I mean, these are not the best animations. But right now I'm testing functionality, right? Why does it just turn around? Like this one. Why did you turn around? I'm facing the thing, and you're moving away. Why? Why do you think that this is the way you should face for this one specifically? It works here. It doesn't work for you. For you, you just want to grab it behind. And now you're fine? Hold on. Yeah, you're grabbing it behind. And if I turn you forward towards it, now you just flip. What about on the other side? Yeah, you also grabbed it behind. Is it because we're on the curve? Like, is it because of the position that's sort of confusing the system? Like, if I put you here, and then... No, you're facing the right way. Right, that's just because I was moving when it happened. Right, like, that doesn't... Then, like... Right, but if I grab you... and place you down, like, here where that was... Yeah, now you're getting confused. So something about this position is sort of confusing the system. It makes it think that that side is closer when it actually isn't. There is one factor that I can think of that position. That position is when I've turned around. Like here, my forward facing, here I'm rotated 180 degrees relative to here. So that might be it. Yeah, because it's super consistent that it's the other way around, right? Like, whether I'm pushing from the left or the right side, whether I'm facing it or facing against it, it just wants to face away. Whereas here, anything that's here, it just does it correctly. Maybe I was onto something when I set the global forward. Global forward instead. Maybe I was onto something there. Like if I grab one of these, place it like here, do you get confused? No, now you don't. Oh, okay, so yeah, just using the global forward fixed it. Ah, thank God, okay. Well, that was good progress. We got that done. That's actually pretty good, I think. I'm gonna end the coding session for now, but that doesn't mean that the stream is over. I'm going to be right back later, and I'm gonna be playing a new game. It's gonna be, yeah. Oh, actually, I already said what I was gonna be playing. Yeah, I'm gonna be playing Metroid. Yeah, Metroidvania time again after finishing Blasphemous. Yes, I just wanted more. Alright, alright. So I'm gonna be right back. It's probably gonna take me a while because I gotta do the dishes, I gotta do a bunch of stuff. But when I'm back, video games.